Hey, thanks for clicking on Maroon News Podcast. I'm Asher.
I'm Mike.
And we're editors at the Maroon. And so we've got a couple of today's top stories for you.
Yeah, a really weird one. It's one of the weirdest stories I've ever seen. Was over the weekend, New York City police officers arrested the son of a UFC professor for allegedly stealing the identity of his father's academic rival. His father's this Dead Sea Scrolls scholar. The Dead Sea Scrolls are these texts that were found in Israel in the West Bank, and it's unclear who wrote them originally. And some people say it was a Jewish tribe, some people say it wasn't, and so there's this big debate. And one UFC professor has a couple detractors in the academic world, and his son, who's a grown man in his 40s,
alumni of a law school in New York.
Yeah, created a Gmail account in this other person's name, in the rival, and sent emails out to different academic venues claiming that he was wrong and that he renounced all of his previous theories. So the son's been charged, and it's a very weird but interesting story.
We also have coverage of the Westboro Baptists who came to campus yesterday. It was a big party on campus, and we got lots of different coverage of what went on when they were outside of the co-op, what the party's going on inside Hutch, and more.
Yeah, and we also sat down with President Zimmer yesterday. The Maroon Editorial Board does this every quarter, and he had a couple of things that were not necessarily stories in themselves, but just sort of interesting facts we'd just like to share with the community. The first was he said that he's expecting a lot of funding, new science funding, to come into the university because of President Obama's stimulus package. And the reason some of it's taking longer than might be expected is because the new stimulus is obviously focused on job creation. And normally when you create a scientific proposal, it's not really focused on how many jobs and how to track job creation. So a lot of these proposals have to be retooled, and that's just taking a little bit more time.
Right. Another of the stories is, as I'm sure everyone knows, the three major construction projects have been announced that they will still go through, and Zimmer told us that the Logan Arts Center will break ground this year.
And another one is this: he recommitted the university's commitment to bring a hotel to Hyde Park. Last quarter, there was a proposed hotel going to be at the Doctors Hospital, which is this abandoned hospital on Stony Island Avenue, and there was a bunch of Hyde Park residents led a proposal to ban alcohol sales on that district, and that pretty much is death for a hotel. And so the hotel never got off the ground. But President Zimmer said he's looking maybe more north of campus, along 53rd Street. The university owns several properties there. So he said that they really are still looking for a hotel.
But they are interested in developing it, and they're trying to get it done very soon. They're talking to aldermen, and they're talking to construction firms to see if they can push it through. And then the last story that we thought was interesting was it's looking like, despite the recession and despite the obvious loss in jobs for many people, it's been, what, 8% of the job force is now gone? There have been no extra people applying for financial aid. Just some people have been applying for slightly more financial aid, but nothing major yet. So it's good news for the university.
Yeah, and these numbers are obviously tentative because a lot of these financial aid applications have not been completed yet. But so far, it looks like things are looking okay. Right,
and so what's going to be very important for that is they're going to be announcing the new tuition in April. We're expecting to see a rise in tuition. Lots of other peer institutions have been doing that.
The big question is just whether it's pacing inflation or if it's going above that to try and recoup costs that the endowment lost.
So thanks for watching the podcast, and we hope to pick up today's Maroon. For Asher
and Mike, have a good break.